excited to chat with Coach Ballgame today. Thank you so much for joining me. You're on a camp right now, is that correct?
I am. I'm in my Chrysler Pacifica van at a lunch break. I've got 100 kids this week in Southern California, where I live,
Yep,
and excited to get over to your neck of the woods,
that's
Maryland.
right.
Hard to believe I've never brought the Sandlot to that state, so
Yeah.
it'll be
Oh,
a
you've
first.
never been in Maryland at all?
I've been there, but I haven't brought my Sandlot
Oh,
there.
gotcha.
I did do a camp with Major League Baseball at the White House,
Oh,
but I
well,
don't
there
think
you go.
that's not considered Maryland. If
Not
my
really, no, DC. I see you've started at the top and now you're working your way down.
look at me, just flexing early.
I did see that you did get a signature from Mr. Ripken himself, though.
Big fan. One of my dad's favorite players. Obviously, one of mine growing up as well. I grew up in North Carolina, so I got to watch a lot of the Orioles games.
Yes.
And the Roberto Clemente Award is the most valuable award in my mind. So meeting a Roberto Clemente Award winner like Cal Ripken Jr. and the Iron Man himself. I have this big conga that I take around the world, and I put it in the on deck circle at all my sandlots, and it's got a lot of signatures. And now it's got Cal Ripken Jr.'s on there, along with 11 other Hall of Famers.
Yeah. Okay. So you have made your way from college. You played baseball in college, right? And didn't go further than that.
Yeah, I gave it my all. I grew up in a small town in North Carolina, but we had a big backyard, and I played ball in that backyard growing up. Brown University, they got a sniff of me, and they liked what they saw. So 4 years there. But a real eye-opening experience was when I was facing Justin Verlander. At that time, he was pitching for Old Dominion. He threw a couple of fastballs that I did not see very clearly. It was very fuzzy. And then he threw a curveball that literally made my stomach dry heave. Thankfully, I did not throw up, but the umpire did say strike three. And that was it. That was the moment. I was destined to be a baseball coach and not a player. So from Brown straight to Southern California, where I did a 10-year coaching stint in LA, where I just learned how to coach. I learned my voice. I learned the lens I was supposed to look through. I had great mentors that showed me the way. And the last 10 years, I've been in Orange County doing my own thing, which we call Coach Ballgame. So this is home base, but about 5 years ago, we decided to take this thing on the road. Big time thank you to a family who I didn't know, but I got a phone call, and she said, "My name's Sandy. You don't know me, but my husband just died of cancer, and before he died, this long battle." He'd seen some of your videos and he loved what you were about. You were about kindness. You were about building character. You were about joy. And he said, in lieu of flowers, when he passes, raise money and send it to this Coach Ballgame guy. I
Oh,
get off the
wow.
phone. I thought that was a prank call. I got on the phone with her son, and he says, "There's no catch here. What's your Venmo?" $20,000 later,
Holy
we
cow.
had a grant from this family, and these were from people that didn't know me, but they respected this family and this man Dave Schreckengast, who was a teacher and a coach for 50 years. But they started sending money because they loved who he was. And that was our start. We went around the country, 5 different cities. We went to the Field of Dreams in Iowa. We went to St. Louis. We went to Chicago. We went to Pennsylvania, and we went to the Bronx. And we did free sandlots. And that was the beginning. That gave us the fuel that we needed to get around the country and do this Sandlot Tour. So that's what we're bringing to Frederick, Maryland here in just a few weeks.
Yeah, yeah. And look, I think that what you do bring is refreshing. Having watched your videos, having been a daughter of a baseball coach, played baseball when I was younger, I guess there's a few things out of your journey and experience. Number one, I think it's really good to show kids that you don't have to play in the major leagues to be successful at continuing to play or have an affiliation with baseball. I think a lot of kids who are young get caught up in that I want to be pro, and they're 8 years old and they get caught up in this, well, I think what you call like the do or die or cutthroat leagues that take the fun out of the game. And I think what you show is that the game can be fun, it can be encouraging, it can be kind. And I don't think there's a lot of coaches out there who base their success on that. And I love to see that.
Well, yeah. Who would have thought what I do it would be novel? Let's build character. Let's make it fun, and let's create great humans.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to meet a lot of major league players, managers, interview them with my job with MLB, and all of them say the same thing. What in the world is going on out there? Why? When did it get crazy? Why is it so win at all costs? Why are kids feeling so much pressure? They should be playing with joy. Why? Because the math says none of them are going to make it to the major leagues, but
Right.
all of them are going to be adults one day. They're all going to be parents one day. They're going to have tough decisions where they need to lean on you as the coach when they have a really tough decision to make. So for me, I'm educating the parents. Yes, I'm going to give the kids in Frederick, Maryland, 3 hours of joy and character development, but I'm really speaking to the parents and the coaches because that's what it's going to take. We've got to equip, we got to educate all these parents and all these coaches. Folks, wins do not matter until you're on TV. When
Yeah.
you're the manager of the Yankees or the Orioles, yes, you need to win to feed your family. But right now, you don't. Right
Yeah.
now, you need to create good humans. So I learned that early on in my coaching career that I need to be in the business of reeling the kids in and making them want to fall in love with the game.
Yeah.
Most of the kids were not the 8-year-old version of me who was obsessed with baseball. Most of them need some enticing. They need some engagement. So my goal is to teach these coaches and parents in these different towns. Here's how you build trust with kids. Here's how you engage with them. Here's how you teach love of play. Here's how you develop them as a human and build character. And as far as developing the skills and winning games, those will be byproducts of all the life lessons you teach. But I come from a place of it's barely baseball, it's barely softball, way more important things to get to, and everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah, let me ask you. You talk about how you coach and or educate parents and other coaches. Do you actually spend time with the adults during these camps, or is there something that's accessible to them? I would love if more coaches were mentored by somebody like you.
Absolutely. Both. Yeah, I've got a playbook, and you can find it in the link tree in my bio and my social medias. It's called the Coach Ballgame Playbook, but it's a starter kit. Really, what I talked about: how to create effective practices, how to teach love of play, how to create long careers, how to get the best out of your kids in a high leverage moment. So that's the Coach Ballgame Playbook. But as far as these Sandlot tours, we have a pre-Sandlot Zoom with all the coaches that are going to be there, all the volunteer coaches, and I just give them the broad strokes of how do we engage these kids? How do we get them to want to come back tomorrow? How do we create 3 hours of joy? How do we prioritize movement? So we go through all the different stations that we'll be running, and there'll be 8 different fun stations of different skills that we'll be teaching at these sandlots. Then after the sandlot, we unpack it. Hey, what stood out to you, coaches, parents? What stood out? How can we make coaching better? And that's the highlight of my tour is really discussing these things with all these parents. And what I've learned is nobody is trying to sabotage their own child's future. They just don't know it exists until they see it. When they
Yeah.
see some guy in a funny hat cruise through, sing songs, recite poetry, tell stories, play the drums, and they see all the kids jumping and laughing and having fun and playing better, performing better, all while earning baseball cards for making good choices, then they go, oh, okay, so this is possible. We don't need to do it the way we were taught or the way we see it every weekend at our games. Let's try this other way. And I've found there are so many great people in every small town in America and every big city. I think the towns that get behind their little league and get behind this message of how can we make these kids better humans, those communities thrive. There's a different feel when the kids and the adults, they all know each other, and little league is prioritized.
Well, I love it. We love what you do. You're coming to Frederick September 8th. You can get your registration now at coachballgame.com. Just search for Frederick, Maryland. We're at Lotes Field next to Keys Stadium. And we look forward to seeing you out there. I'm going to come out and check it out. And we know you're going to have a sold out day here in Frederick. We can't wait. We hope you have safe travels, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
I'm excited. Thanks for having me on and for spreading the word.